So what is happening at Kingsmeadow this summer? Coming up on our first update this summer, we speak to new goalkeeper Nick Zanev, Academy Player of the Season Tom Scott, and also there's an update from Chief Executive Eric Samuelson on renovations to the pitch, the search for new players, and an update on Plough Lane. With me now is AFC Wimbledon Chief Executive Eric Samuelson. We can see there's quite a bit of sand going down here at the ground. What is happening at Kingsmeadow? Well,
if ever you doubted this is a sand-based pitch, this is your proof. After every season we renovate the pitch. This is no different. What is different is that because Chelsea will be playing here next season, they're actually putting in rather more than we can normally afford. And therefore it's a substantial renovation and much more significant change, including replacing all the old irrigation. So you'll now see proper pop-up sprinklers in the middle of the pitch and all those sorts of things. So we are expecting to have a much better pitch for the coming season, and it'll last a lot better as a result of all the work that's been put in.
That's exciting. In terms of that, we've got sand, and then you've got grass on top of that, but on top of that is players. What's happening with recruitment with that, and what's your role in that at this time of the year?
My role, I never claimed to know anything about football, so my role is to make sure that as a board we make as much money available as possible to Neil to help strengthen the squad, and so we spend quite a lot of time talking about how we're going to be able to do that and what we can make available to him. That's our job done. From then on, he's out there already making inquiries, because at this stage of the season players aren't free. They aren't free to sign until the 1st of July, so he's laying the groundwork for the players he's trying to bring in, and of course everybody's doing that, so you're not going to get any clear decisions and you may not hear anything for quite some time.
This season's not quite over just yet. Of course, when it is, there'll be a Football League meeting and things to be discussed as well. What's AFC Wimbledon's standpoint on, of course, the Checker Trade Trophy?
Well, that will actually be decided before we get to the Football League meeting, because by then they'll be wanting to be agreeing the timetable, the schedule of games, etc. There was a meeting a while ago that all league clubs were invited to, all League One and League Two clubs were invited to present a series of options, and now clubs should have voted. I think the deadline was beginning of this week on what option they support. We voted in favour of continuing with what I'd call the old style trophy, which is no invited clubs. And then you actually asked one of three options. Have invited clubs, like last season, but with some tweaks to it. Have no invited clubs, or scrap it. We were torn between the last two. I think everybody knows we really don't support the idea of academy clubs playing. We decided that it should continue for a while, because I think giving up a final at Wembley, even if the path there isn't particularly exciting, giving up a final at Wembley would be quite a dramatic thing to do, so we supported that route.
Okay. I can't let you go without asking, of course, about the new stadium. Has there been any developments on that?
Yes, I mean, I'm very cautious about putting timescales on anything nowadays because of over-ambitious forecasts in the past. But in the last week, maybe 2 weeks, we've had some very good meetings with the developers, Galliard, jointly with them and Merton Council, which was only yesterday, Tuesday. And I think there's substantial agreement now on most of the interwoven legal agreements that take place. There's still some stuff to be resolved. Two firms of lawyers, or three actually, because Merton have their own, have to work together, and that is not going to be quick. But I think we'll have agreement in the very near future. One of the things, of course, that will slow us down is that the Historic England review of whether or not the old site should be listed is now under purdah, which, for those of you who are not familiar with the term, means that no government decisions will be made during the period running up to an election. To be honest, my concern is not only that that might happen, but that if they change the sports minister, it's the sports minister who decides this, that could lead to a bit of a further delay too. But we'll deal with that as it comes up. It's just another hurdle in one of many we've faced. We've overcome them all. In many other respects, we're looking really good. If I might just add one thing, you didn't ask me. I explained in the programme a while ago that we're actually, to save a bit of time, we started a tender process, a two-stage tender for building our new stadium, which I think is exciting to be talking about that. The first stage is getting tenders based on the design that we got for planning permission, and the second stage will be based on a more detailed design. But we wanted it just to reaffirm that the cost was where we think it is. put it crudely, to make sure we can afford it. We wanted to be certain. And the feedback is that, yes, it's come out pretty well on our budget, which is very reassuring. We've now got a lot of work to do to take it to the detailed design stage, where the fan extractors are, all that sort of detail. But it's reassuring that we are on track and it's well within, well, not well within our budget. Good news.
Absolutely, Eric, that's exciting news, and thanks very much indeed for your time.
A pleasure.
There have been some legendary goalkeeper names associated with Wimbledon over the past. Dave Besant, of course. And in particular this man, Dickie Guy, of course, club president. But this week we caught up with the Don's latest goalkeeper signing, Nick Zanev. Delighted to say with us now is Nick Zanev. You've turned your, what was original deal into now a permanent deal with AFC Wimbledon for the future. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling, like knowing, because I was obviously, when I was playing as a young boy, I was always playing against Wimbledon, and now being the chance to be a part of the first team, and I think the hard work paid off, and I didn't, because I could have maybe like slowed down a bit when I got that 2-month deal, but I didn't, but I kept on going at it, and I'm really happy now and really pleased with myself.
It's good to hear. In particular, of course, as well, first team goalkeeping coach Ashley Bays, he had some very good words to say about you down at Merstham for the last league game you had. Yeah. He loves his job, doesn't he? He's dedicated, and you feel you could learn a lot from him?
Yeah, I think working with him I can achieve anything really, because, and I really appreciate the fact that he took me in just to train in the first place, and from where I was when I first started to train to where I was now, I can only give that to Bezo, because he's been training me every day, and I really like working with him, and I think we have a lot to bring to the future.
The first team changing room at the Cherry Red Records Stadium. It's a bit quiet in here at the moment, but one day Academy defender Tom Scott hopes to graduate to here, having won the Academy Player of the Season this year. Let's hear from him now with Mark Robinson. I'm going to put Tom on the spot here now, because I've done my research, and just going back over an interview about 10 years ago from a very successful footballer. He had a very good career as a midfielder, and just reading some quotes here, and he said things were very different in those days. We'd be in very early on, we'd have a lot of jobs to do, clean the boots and so on, but it taught you responsibility and how to pull together as a unit. So, I mean, who would that be, Tom, would you think?
My dad.
Right, who's your dad then?
Peter Scott. He played for Fulham, Barnet and Bournemouth. He had a great career in the game, and obviously he's someone I can learn off. He's my main role model. When I was younger, I said, I want to be like my dad, He'd be like, no, watch players in your position. But yeah, he's obviously my main role model, and I'm just thankful that I have him and the rest of my family behind me.
But how much do you and the rest of the lads within the team appreciate those kind of qualities that Robbo's tried to implement here amongst the structure?
Oh, massively. You know, Robbo and James have helped me so much. I mean, before I come here, obviously I had the backing of my family, but without Robbo and James, none of us would be where we are today.
Mark, his dad played, well over 300 games for Fulham. You played with his dad as well at Fulham.
Yeah.
And now you're managing his son. Have you seen the characteristics there?
He's a little bit older than me, but yeah, he was under 18. I think I was 14, 15. We played Arsenal. So and I trained up with the 18s when I was younger, so I sort of knew Peter, and he was horrible to me. No. So, but funny enough, I remember him well because he had such a winning mentality, which was quite funny. So, as a young lad, sort of training a couple of years up, sort of you notice characters that stuck out. So Pete was one. Paul Parker was in that squad as well, and Pete stood out massively as a winner even back then, and he didn't take any prisoners if you weren't, if you wasn't giving it everything. So I remember it really well. So, and obviously Tom's learned from that and taken those traits off his dad.